12 News at 10 with Mark Curtis and Caribe Divine starts now.
We begin tonight in Phoenix, where the City Council has unanimously approved a series of police reforms. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Caribe Divine.
I'm Mark Curtis. This comes after a scathing report from the Department of Justice detailing what it found to be a pattern of unconstitutional and discriminatory behavior by the Phoenix Police Department.
12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra is live at the Phoenix Police Department and has a look at what reforms they're proposing. Gabby?
Well, Mark Caribe, the reforms brought forward tonight seem to be the city's way of addressing the DOJ's complaints against the Phoenix Police Department without actually involving the DOJ.
The council has unanimously passed a variety of very important policies that put new civilian resources into homelessness, prioritize dispatch, and create new mechanisms of accountability.
The Phoenix City Council appears to have some mixed feelings on the best way to move forward after a U.S. Department of Justice investigation accused police of violating rights of minorities and the homeless population, among other criticisms. But Mayor Kate Gallego and all 8 council members made it clear some action is better than none.
It's not meant to be a vanishing act. It is meant to make an honest attempt to do something.
The City Council approved a series of reforms they say will help the department better self-assess and self-correct the concerns brought forward by the DOJ. Some of those reforms include a hotline for citizens to file complaints against officers, hiring more 911 dispatchers, expanding use of body-worn cameras, and creating an inspector sergeant position in all precincts to investigate officer misconduct. The council chambers were filled with people on both sides of the issue, most opposing these reforms that require more police funding.
Nothing more than mere band-aids covering bullet wounds.
Mixed feelings on whether the police department requires federal oversight or a consent decree also filled the chambers.
We do not need a consent decree. We do not need to give up local control.
The Department of Justice is not going to come. They're not going to help. We'll be having the same conversations. We'll just be spending more money and time on lawyers to do it.
Several people questioned if the city could hold itself accountable.
This is very important because if we don't get it right, it's our reputation on the line.
The city of Phoenix and DOJ have yet to come to an agreement on how to move forward, whether that be with or without a consent decree or federal monitoring. You can read more about these approved reforms right now on 12news.com. Live in Phoenix, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.
All right, Gabby, thank you for that. Now to concerns from parents and local leaders amid a spike in school threats both here in Arizona and across the country.
Now, this comes on the heels of 2 arrests in the past 2 days tied to school threats. In Surprise, police arrested a 14-year-old who they say made threats of violence against a Valley Vista high school. And in Buckeye, police arrested a 12-year-old boy who left a voicemail threatening to, quote, shoot up a classroom at Desert Sunset Elementary. A school in Mesa was also put on lockdown today after a false report of a gun on campus. And tonight, school leaders discussed just how widespread this problem is.
12 News journalist Chase Golightly was there for the discussion. And Chase, you learned just how many schools have received threats and how many students have been charged.
Mark, it was all discussed tonight at Mesa Public Schools meeting where parents were eagerly waiting to hear what the school district and police are doing, and they simply couldn't believe just how many threats there have been within the past week. A shocking number of threats made against the state's largest school district, putting parents on edge.
It's actually kind of ludicrous.
That's a tough and sad indictment.
On Tuesday night during Mesa Public Schools board meeting, they learned within the past week 24 schools had threats made against them.
Many of these schools with multiple threats on multiple days.
Also within that time, 12 students, one as young as 11 years old, facing charges from the Mesa Police Department.
Causes a tremendous level of fear on the campus.
Mesa Police Sergeant Chuck Lyons addressing the school board during their regular meeting, saying while many of these threats are sent out as jokes, it's no laughing matter.
Whether they were joking when they made the comment or not, it's taken very seriously.
Lyons saying most of them are reported by students who overhear them or receive them through text or social media. But finding the person responsible can be difficult.
Could be just a couple of students, could be just one student, or it could be 10 10 or 12 students that we have to track down to determine.
Putting a heavy strain on school and police resources. But no matter the circumstances, it won't stop them from investigating and finding those responsible.
If we have probable cause to charge them, we will charge them.
District officials also talking about new security measures they've implemented, like weapon detection systems, thousands of security cameras, and school resource officers on campus.
In light of the past events, I'm thankful for the systems being in place.
Bringing some relief to parents. Also during tonight's discussion, both police and the school district encourage students to continue to report these threats to law enforcement. They also ask that parents do get more involved and see what their kids are doing and seeing on social media to try to prevent more of these threats from happening. We're live in Mesa tonight. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thank you. The Tullison Union High School District says that the board president and superintendent had an inappropriate relationship. Last month, Superintendent Jeremy Callis accused board president Elda Luna Nájera of harassment, saying that she made unwanted advances. An investigation found that the two had a sexual relationship that resulted in a power struggle between the positions. Last night, the board voted to adopt the investigation's findings and requested a reorganization of the board. This is expected to be a major topic of discussion at tomorrow's school board meeting. 12 News will be there and will keep you updated on what happens.
All right, well, don't say you weren't warned. Get ready for another wave of intense heat here in the valley. Meteorologist Crystal Long is here with a first look at your forecast. And Crystal, we have a string of weather impact days.
It really is next level for September sizzle, I'll tell you what. So it's 10:08 this evening and we're still hanging on to the 90s. Does that show you the kind of heat wave we're already under? And we're still 12 hours away from that excessive heat warning snapping in place. We have 90 right now for Avondale, 89 in Gilbert and Mesa. Hour by hour tomorrow, we'll dip down in those early morning hours and then jump right back up into the mid-90s by 10 o'clock. By lunchtime, we have already surpassed the usual average high temperature for this time of year. We continue to trend upward. I do think we'll have what it takes to crack 110, which would beat out the 1989 record of 108. We're talking about a serious surplus there of 13 degrees above normal for this time of year. That's why this excessive heat warning is in place, and it's going to have staying power through Sunday. So your 12 News exclusive monsoon meter has been set to 0. And that's what you're going to be looking at for the remainder of the 6 days of the season.
All right, Crystal, thank you. A Phoenix motel has been shut down after an investigation by Phoenix police and the FBI discovered that it's a hub for drug trafficking and prostitution. The investigation started roughly 9 years ago when the Phoenix Police Department began receiving complaints from residents and neighbors of the building called the Royal Inn. It's near I-17 and Bethany Home Road. For years, officers monitored the property and the illegal activity that they say was happening inside this building. Today, it was announced that authorities officially seized the building and arrest warrants are now pending for the owner and the manager.
For several years, they were knowingly and willingly operating an establishment that facilitated the sexual exploitation of people and the sale of dangerous drugs in the community. They essentially operated a marketplace for illicit activity located steps away from a neighborhood where children were walking to school every morning.
According to the FBI, more than 1,000 victims of sexual exploitation have been identified over the course of the investigation.
Well, now to some developing news we're following out of Mesa, where a $20,000 bronze statue has been stolen from the Mountain View Cemetery. They're asking for the community's help to try to find whoever would pull the 4-foot statue from its foundation. It honors Connie Whalen, who passed away back in 2013 and was commissioned by her husband. Workers at the cemetery say it would welcome visitors when they entered the grounds.
We just can't understand why somebody would take something that is not only belonging to somebody else, but it is a representation of their loved one, which is a complete dishonorment of that person that has passed away.
It's believed the statue was stolen for its copper. The cemetery has reached out to local recycling facilities, asking them not to accept it.